Hi class, in this video we are going to discuss representations of rational function. Our objective for this video is first to review the definition of rational functions and representing a rational function through a table of values, a graph, or an equation. Let's start. Again, let's first define what is rational function. So again, rational function is a function of the form f of x is equal to p of x over q of x. And these p of x and q of x are polynomial functions. Take note then that q of x is not a zero function. So bawal siyang maging equal to 0. Because it will make your rational function undefined. So the domain of f of x is all possible values of x where q of x is not equal to 1. So this one, didiscuss natin to sa ating next video regarding domains of rational functions. So again, take note of our definition for rational function. So this is just a simple, or can be written as a polynomial divided by another polynomial function. Now let's have our first scenario. So let's represent the speed of a runner as a function of the time it takes to run 100 meter in the track. So we are going to represent a function, particularly speed. So as you all know, there is a formula that we can use in computing or finding the speed. So that is speed is equal to distance over time. We have to represent the speed of the runner in a function, and particularly function of the time it takes to run 100 meters. So we have to let x be the time it takes to run the 100 meters. So our x now will be our time. So, and based on the problem, we have a given, right? Meron tayong given which is our distance. Meron tayong distance na 100 meters. Now, we can now represent the speed of the runner by function of s which is for speed, s of x is equal to the distance over time, or from our given, we have 100 over our time, which is x. So now this is our function that represent the speed of the runner, of a runner in 100 meters track. Now let's continue. Given our scenario a while ago, let's now construct our table of values. So for us, in constructing table of values, we have, of course, our x, the possible values of x, and our s of x, or our y. So, ayan, no? In solving or constructing your own table of values, the first thing you have to do is to construct your table, and then you will substitute or find or any possible values of x na pwede mong i-substitute sa iyong function para po makompleto mo yung iyong possible values of y or s of x. And dahil nga po na-compute na natin yung ating representation for the function, which is s of x is equal to 100 divided by x. Now this time, mag-plug in na po tayo ng ating mga possible values of x. And based po dun sa current world record natin, as of 2015, for a 100-meter dash, meron pong record na na-obtain si Usain Bolt noong 2009 na 9.58 for a 100-meter dash. So, pwede natin yung gawing basis. So, we can start with a value of 10. No? Then, pwede rin tayo, sama na natin, sunod-sunod, even, skip tayo, even 12, 14, 16, 18, then last is 20. So now, let's compute or let's solve for the s of x. So, ang s of x natin makompute lang when we plug in our values of x sa ating pinaka-function. So, that is s of 10 is equal to 100 divided by 10. And 100 divided by 10 is equal to 10. Then, s of 12 is equal to 100 divided by 12. So, 100 divided by 12 is 8.33. So, express na lang po natin yung sagot natin in decimal places. Then, for s of 14, we have 100 divided by 14. So, 100 divided by 14 is 7.14. Next, s of 16, that is 100 divided by 16. 100 divided by 16 is 6.25. Next, we have s of 18, which is equal to 100 divided by 18. Then, 100 divided by 18 is equal to, na natin sulat, 5.56. And last is s of 20 equal to 100 divided by 20. 100 divided by 20 is 5. So, now that we have completed our table of values, let's now plot the points on the table of values on a Cartesian plane. First thing we have to do is, of course, identify the points na ipa-plot natin sa ating Cartesian plane. So, by looking at our table of values, meron tayong 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6 points. So, identify lang po natin. First, meron tayong 10, 10. Then, we have also 12, 8.33. Next, 14, 7.14. Next, 16, 6.25. Next, 18, 5.56. And lastly, we have 20, 5. So, ayan po, no? We can name this point. Sabihin natin point A, B, C, D, E, F. So, now, we can plot this in our Cartesian plane. Pero sabi dito, let's determine daw if this point of the function s of x is equal to 100 over x follow a smooth curve or a straight line. So, we can answer this one by plotting our points in a Cartesian plane. So, our first point, A, which is 10, 10. Saan natin makikita yan? By looking at our Cartesian plane. So, 10, ating y, then ito yung ating 10 for our x. So, that is, dito banda, 10, 10, ayan. So, this is our point A. No? Tapat ng 10 of x and 10 of y. Next, our point B is 12, 8.33. So, 12, punta tayo. Ito, meron tayong 12 dito. Then, that is papuntang 8.33 between 8 and 9. So, 8 and 9. Sabihin natin dito banda, yung ating point B. So, ating point B will be 12, 8, 9. Let's say, yan po yung atin, no? Ating point B. Next, let's have point C, which is 14, 7.14. So, that is, here is our 14. Punta tayo, 7, so malapit-lapit sa 7 ng y natin. So, that is 7, 14. So, sabihin natin, assume natin that this is our point C. Next, we have point D, which is 16.8. ay 16, 6.25. So, 16. Punta tayo ng 16. Then, 6.25 dito banda. Malapit, pero nasa taas banda. So, that is dito, no? Natin ang point D. So, point E, baka matamaan, adjust natin. So, point E natin is 18, 5.56. So, that is 18. Tingin tayo sa 18. Then, 5.56. So, malapit-lapit na sa ating 6. So, that is dito. Huh? Ito ang ating point E. Then, ang ating last is 20, 5. So, we have here 20, then sakto ng 5, we have our point F. So, by connecting the points, ayan, by connecting the points, we can observe that they are not collinear to each other, but rather, they follow a smooth curve. So, for our 100-meter dash scenario, we have represented our function in 3 ways. So, meron tayo, we represent it in an equation. We also constructed our own table of values and even plot and graph our points. However, this first scenario natin, yes, it is practical or in real life. However, there are limitations kasi nga po, a runner cannot run in negative time, wala naman pong negative na oras. And then, of course, hindi pa natatala yung record na pwedeng bumaba ng 5 seconds ang kayang takbuhin. As of 2015, October, ang natakbo na pinakamaiksi for 100-meter dash is 9.58 ni Usain Bolt last 2009. So, may mga ganun scenario po. Kaya po ang ating table, wala kayong nakitang x values na negative. However, there are cases pa rin, there are different types of rational functions na ma-encounter nyo na ganito pa rin, pwede nyo pong gamitan ng mga negative values and you can construct your own table of values, plot it, and come up with your representation of the functions.